Good morning. Good morning, Grandmaster Chen, all of the masters of the abode, and everyone here today. It's really nice to be in Texas because it's my first time being here, and the weather is different, but everything, the people are the same. Before I start today, I'd like to show you a video of the world that we are living in, and I hope it's 2001, because next month is September.
It's begun to sound like some sort of a cliche, but really, September 11th started out like every other day.
103.5 KCU, the beat of New York. Good morning, Marcel's on your feel-good radio station. We're waking up with Whoopi in less than a half hour right now, and JoJo, too little too late.
Any idea where you're headed?
No. People at Coach think it's a routine emergency. We've asked for a doctor, but he's not on board.
Can you tell us anything more about the hijackers?
Yes. They have knives and mace. They say they have a bomb.
How are the people who are stabbed?
One flight attendant's okay. I'm not sure. The other may not make it. Oh my God! Something's wrong here!
What's happening? Amy, are you still there?
We're in rapid descent. We're all over the place.
Can you look out the window and tell us where you are?
I see water, buildings. We're flying low. We're flying very, very low. We're flying way too low. Oh my God,
Just by watching this video, you can see that just within 2 hours, 2 tallest buildings at the time could vanish and become a pile of debris. This is kind of a visual representation of the day after 9/11. And the change is just terrifying because the terrorism and the thought of destroying these 2 buildings and destroying many people's lives is really terrifying. Before I move on, I'm going to talk about a story, or also my experience at school once. And that is, my friend once wanted to borrow a pencil from me. And I gave him one of my good pencils. But after that, it never came back to me. So I asked him, "Do you have my pencil?" And he said, "I lost it," and just walked away. This really made me sad because the lack of moral values and the lack of compassion and wisdom is really becoming a problem for our world and becoming a very dangerous thing. And every time I watch old movies, I'm always stunned by how people acted in the old days. In 1960, people used to be very polite to other people, act very differently, and change has taken place just in a couple of decades. So objects are really special. Objects cannot stay long, but their meaning stays forever. And what will never break, like the chair you're sitting in, will eventually become a pile of ashes someday. And the things, your own body, will eventually decay. But what can stay? What's the longest and what's not temporary in our world? There really isn't anything that you can see that's not going to be destroyed one day. But the meaning behind it, it's always the most long-lasting thing. Well, I was researching on how architecture changed after 9/11, and according to architecture.about.com, there were a couple of changes, or 3 changes, that really changed how security was done in buildings. And that was staircases. They had to be bigger and wider, and more staircases were made. Glowing exit signs, like those behind you, and stronger walls, which prevented terrorism acts. Even though the World Trade Center is already gone and has been gone for more than a decade, the things that were left after the building is always going to stay in us, and will stay in us, in the whole world, and everyone will have the lessons that they will never forget. Here's another perspective of this. Around 5:10 a.m., you brush your teeth. But now you can remember that time when you brushed your teeth. You're not brushing your teeth right now, but you can remember it. And that's a temporary event, but your memory of it will last long and last forever. So this is what Master Cheng says, existence beyond vision. The objects that you see, or your vision, is what you see in the world that you see. But there's a world behind it, and that's what exists beyond your vision. So we can let go of what we see and actually try to find the answers behind. And when you find it, you'll find that this is a profound and really new world for you. And once you find that, you can find the true history behind our world. I have a dollar bill here, and 5 of these dollar bills can buy me a gallon of ice cream. And I like ice cream, but that gallon of ice cream is going to be gone in a couple of days. But the same $5 can be donated to other people, and people will enjoy, people who are suffering from hunger can enjoy one meal that can sustain them for a longer time. But the same amount of money and the same amount of pieces of papers will do 2 opposite things and 2 things, one that can be very useful to the world and one that's only for myself and my desire. So money is really something that's important to us, but can be used in an even better way than buying ice creams and chips and dolls or plushes. And there was a couple in Turkey that really showed that to the world. And they were going to have a really big wedding, but after that, they thought that they could use the same amount of money to help 4,000 Syrians. That's the same amount of money, the same amount of pieces of paper that can do two different things. And one of them that they chose gave them something that will last long and last forever for them. And that's the feeling of happiness and the feeling of helping others. So this is actually respecting the idea of seeing what's behind what you see in the world. When you have this, compassion is something that you bring with you every day. When you see someone who is in hunger, who is starving, you'll have the heart to help them. When you see a kid that's suffering from diseases, you'll be able to donate money, donate your action to help them. But how about wisdom? To many people, wisdom is something that old people have, like your grandfather and your grandmother and this person, not to scale. But things that wisdom is not only in people who are designated in your mind. It's something that all of you can have and all of you can store in your own body. And if you have wisdom, the thing that you leave for your posterity is not only money, not only houses, not only land, but wisdom that you learned and a path for them to walk on into the next generation. So without compassion, you won't be able to understand and be willing to give. And without wisdom, you will not know the value behind giving. Albert Einstein, like most of you know, is a very, very good physicist. But he's also a philosopher. And one time he met this other philosopher named Tagore. And Tagore said something very special that's online right now. He said that objects are made of atoms, but the universe is also composed of people. And that also imposes that we can help the world and we can change the world, even though the world may seem like a very complicated universe, there are many disruptive things that come every day. But because the universe is made of people and people are connected, we have the ability to change the world. And that's because the universe is composed of people. So like Master Cheng said, a harmonic world comes from the mutual connection between people and the universe. And that's exactly our goal in this world and at this time. I just started a new way of learning in my classes, and I started homeschooling. But sometimes when I look at my schedule for the 6 years that I currently have planned, I think to myself that I'm about to faint, because all of the things are on my schedule, and I have to do so many things on every hour. And I believe that most of you have even more things to do than I do. And how can we help the world, leave a better world for our posterity, if we have so many things on it, so many things to do every day? Well, here are 2 common responses. The first one is, I'll do it later, and the second one is, I'll do it when I retire. And I've used both of those a couple of times, but none of them worked because I forgot everything. So how can we do it? Well, there was a boy, a 6-year-old boy, named Jaden Hayes, and he's only 6-year-old. He's starting to change his community. His father died, and his mother recently died just 2 years after his father. So I have a video about him, and I'd like to show it to you.
We end tonight with a little boy with enormous power, the power to lift spirits. Here's Steve Hartman on the road.
It is every kid's worst nightmare, and 6-year-old Jaden Hayes has lived it twice. First, he lost his dad when he was 4. Then last month, his mom died unexpectedly in her sleep.
I tried to get her away. Couldn't.
Jaden is understandably heartbroken.
Anybody can die. Just anybody.
But there's another side to his grief, a side he first made public a few weeks ago, when he told his aunt and now guardian, Barbara DeCola, that he was sick and tired of seeing everyone sad all the time, and he had a plan to fix it.
And that was the beginning of it. That's where the adventure began.
Jaden asked his Aunt Barbara to buy a bunch of little toys and bring them here to downtown Savannah, Georgia, near where he lives, so he could then give them away.
Thank you, man.
What is it you're doing?
Well, I'm trying to make people smile. Rubber duckies, dinosaurs.
Because those are the things that make people smile.
Yeah.
And what happens to their face? Really? Really?
See that thing right there?
Jaden targets people who aren't already smiling and then turns their day around. He's gone out on 4 different occasions now, and he's always successful.
It's to make you smile.
Even if sometimes he doesn't get exactly the reaction he was hoping for. It is just so overwhelming to some people that a 6-year-old orphan would give away a toy expecting nothing in return except a smile. Of course, he is paid handsome in hugs. And his aunt says these reactions have done wonders for Jaden.
It's like sheer joy came out of this child. And the more people that he made smile, the more this light shone.
Jaden says that's mostly true.
But I'm still sad that my mom died.
I bet you are. This is by no means a fix, but in the smiles he's made so far, nearly 500 at last count, Jaden has clearly found a purpose.
I'm counting on it to meet 33,000.
33,000? That's a pretty big goal. You think you can make that goal? I think you just did. Steve Hartman on the road in Savannah, Georgia.
We all have loved ones, and we have people who live with us every day, and people who talk to us every day. And we love them because we have a connection with them. But what do we want to leave with them after we pass away? And what do we want to leave for our kids and the people who come after us? Well, that's a better world, and a better one than we have right now. And that's only achieved when we work hard to change the world and make the world better. There is hope in the world, and this world is very good, but we need to improve it even more so that the moral values can be brought back. And City volunteers are doing that every day. Even though they're tired, they still keep on working to make the world a better place. So again, it always comes back to this slide. Compassion is the willing to give, and wisdom is the value. You can see the value behind giving. Here are the 3 things that we can take to everywhere when we want to help the world, and that is a combined mission to make the world better, compassion and wisdom, that's compassion to help others, and wisdom not only in old people, but also in us, and belief and understanding Buddhism, like you did this morning when you listened to Master Ching Yen. Sometimes our lives are balanced. On one side, our life, and the other side, something that's temporary, like a house or an object that we love and are attached to really tightly. And that's what balances our life sometimes. But when that object is gone, our life starts to tip over. And that's when dangerous things happen. And that's when terrorism happens. And that's when we have unclean thoughts in our minds. But as long as we can keep our balance with something that will last forever, like wisdom, compassion, and the action to make the world even better, our life will always be balanced, life after life, and for forever and for a very long time. So when we do this, we will see what's existing beyond what we see in our eyes. And when we see that world, we can further work down to make the world better, and that's the only way to do it. So as long as we add these three, compassion, wisdom, and action together, we can always find the belief and understanding of Buddhism. And soon, when we try to make the world better, we will not only do it for our loved ones, but for everyone in this world. Thank you.